Hello guys, welcome for a new UB battle report. This time I was facing Empire of Sonnstahl, played by Kazandu, another player that I found on UB. I played the exact same list as I played the game before against Kingdom of Aquitaine, and it was another practice game, just basically. That's the list of my opponent, so he was playing basically a cavalry list around 2 big blocks of cavalry, 2 pieces of Untitled Chapter, 2x4 Sun Griffins with lances, the obligatory steam tank, and then some mounted characters. So first of all, the commander with the Sonnstahl, BSB with the Death Warrant and 1-up, 2 prelate on horses with 2-up, one time with great weapon, the other time with paired weapon. And then, last but not least, the Master with the Locket of Suna, Divination, and having a 2+ armor save and the Magical Heirloom. So very mobile list, around 4 scoring units, 4 cavalry, 2 pieces of chaff, the tank. So pretty straightforward. Regarding spell and so on, so settings for this game, we played Marching Column and Secure Target. I chose End of Even, Smite the Unbeliever, Trial of Faith, Wrath of God, and Children of Umi. My opponent decided to take Quicksilver Lash as his bonus spell with being Empire of Sonnstahl. Fate Judgment, Unerring Strike, Starline, and then No Thine Enemy. That's it. What I think about this matchup, I was not very confident when I saw the list. Steam Tank is always tricky to manage. I mean, the charging Auroch might be my better option, but I'm not sure to take it in one round. Would be better to take some wound off before I go, but I might not have 10,000 of possibility to kill him. So when I have a good charge, I have to take it, and then I just have to get good rolls to kill him straight away. If not, the other option is to avoid him, but it's not always possible, and then when avoiding him, he will be able to shoot, which is also not the best case for me, who has a lot of single models. So I have to deal with the tank, who is always a very good piece for an Empire of Sonnstahl list. He has 2 good answers to my characters. I mean, the Locket and the Sonnstahl guy, they can keep my hunter at bay. I mean, I cannot go in combat against these guys. It might be very difficult for me to win against them. In particular, they will be in big block of cavalry with good static combat res, so not so easy. I will need multiple charges if I want to go in with character. Divination is a big threat for me. I know this lore very well. So I will try to push early and get into combat, because the longer I stay out of combat, the more damage I will take. I will want to start and push, if possible, go on the width. I mean, it's the normal strategy for my list. Go on the width with Hunter, try to cause problem, come from behind with the ambushers, and so on. And of course, I will need to deal with the chaff SAP in order to be a good threat with my Auroch. I mean, the cavalry cannot afford to take an Auroch charge. The characters are pretty good against my character, but when an Auroch gets in, it might be too much to handle for him. Okay, deployment. Marching Column, he chose the side, so I was able to drop early. So my first 3 drops were 3 tribesmen, the unit of dogs, and another unit of tribesmen. Here you have the 2 secure targets. That was his, that was mine. I try to put as far away as possible in order to split a little bit his forces, knowing that it might be in my interest to have them as far away as possible. And then his first 3 drops were, first he decided to drop here the Knight of the Sun Griffin, which gave me already an information that this flank might be weak. I mean, he can always put a character on his own, but that was not very likely. When he put first the Sun Griffin, that would mean that this space would be free, so that's why I dropped quite early the dogs, knowing that I will be starting and doing 26. I might be able to use this position to my advantage. Then he put Riotous and the Steam Tank, and then I was able to drop, so I put the first Rock using the Forest to have some kind of cover, putting the trappers forward. Like always, I dropped them in the lake, then I moved here, and my plan was to move on the hill, therefore to trap 2 pieces of terrain for later stages. The mage in his unit, BSB, second Auroch, 2 Kinita in ambush, of course, and then on the left, decided to put quite far away these 3 ogres in order to get the objective later on, giant here, and the scouting mammoths. So I got my configuration, the configuration I like, meaning getting quite early in the game with both mammoths in the flank, but I mean Sun Griffon are not so easy to deal with. He has some chaff and the big boss. So on his side, Sun Griffon, Riders, big boss, and second boss with great weapon. So these guys are the knightly orders. Here you have the knight commander, the BSB, 1 prelate. Here you have the mage and the second prelate over there. Okay, let's go. Turn 1, Ogre Kingdom. As I've told you, go forward with the trappers. The idea is to block any kind of charge. As always, I put the Auroch slightly more than 12. Here I go on flank, checking a bit how he can move. I'm expecting him to chaff me with the Rider, that's why I come pretty big forward with this unit. The idea is to make the interception in case of chaff. I can charge him with the tribesman and then just move freely with the hunter around the corner. So that was my anticipation. And then in the middle, I'm just getting into position. As you can see, nothing too special. And on the left side, I move a bit more on the side with Giant, trying to cause some problem. And of course, I go further up with the guy with 6 attack strength 6, hoping to get a charge next turn, maybe. In the magic, I get Trial of Faith against the tank. I try to get it. I roll double 1, then I re-roll it because of thaumaturgy, and I roll a 2 and a 1, so I fail it again. Would have been nice to get this spell off. And then I'm able to cast Hand of Heaven on the big cavalry. I'm able to kill 1 knight, so that's it. And then I try to cast Wrath of God, which is of course dispelled by my opponent. And with the shooting, I'm able to shut down a knight in this unit. Okay, let's move on to Emperor of Sonnstahl, turn 1. So EoS turn 1, he gets the charge with the steam tank and the traps do the effect. I get 1 wound off due to the trap, so that's still a good job done by the trappers. Gets into position, so as expected he moves forward with the Riders to chaff this unit, leaving me with an 8 Swift Ride Overrun, which is not bad at all, might be interesting to take, but I'm not sure I want to have the dogs in combat with Knight of the Sun Griffon, who might strike everything against the cats and just kill them, so might be a bit risky for me. He shuffles a bit around in order to put me in the front against the hunter, and I mean that's it. He decided not to chaff me at this point of time. On this side, he's pretty confident to take me in the front. I am as well, so we'll see who is right, who is wrong. Magic. He throws in the Fate Judgment on the Rock, rolls a 3, I save 1, I take 2 wounds, okay? And then with 4 dice against 6, he's able to get boosted Unerring Strength on the leftmost Auroch and kills it. So that's a bit unlucky. I get an Auroch killed with 4 dice against 6, but what can you do? I mean, that's it. So yeah. 1 Auroch dead. I passed the panic, fortunately. And let's move on to turn 2. Of course, the steam tank has no problem to deal with the trappers. Turn 2, I take the charge. I was thinking a bit, but I mean, I might not have better opportunities to charge the steam tank. And with a clear overrun pass into the Knight of the Sun Griffon, I mean, that was too much interesting not to take it. I have to do 6 wounds. He has a 1-up and toughness 6 wounds remaining. Might be doable. If not, then I will have to take the counter charge. And I'm getting as well the 6-inch. I needed 6 on the dice to get the charge, so I get the charge off. I go slightly back with my tigers, and I go to the flank. I pass my leadership check, march test to go in the flank. The idea is, after this combat, if I don't kill him outright, I will move slightly to the right to avoid getting countercharged by the big boss, and then I will try to hold the charge from the Knight of the Sun Griffer and then countercharge with my Hunter General. That's the plan basically. I think it might be too far away for him to chaff me, so might work. Here I try to charge as well. I mean, he has only an attribute here. So since he casted 2 damage, he has no boost, only 2 model in contact. I mean, I'm going with impact hit strength 6, plus 6 attack strength 6, hitting on 3+, wounding on 2+, AP 3. Statistically speaking, I should do 3 wound, he should do 1 on average. That's more or less the expectation. I will be getting a charge, he will be steadfast. I mean, that's a good combat for me. And then second round, I have a potion of strength, so I can try to strike with potion of strength. Maybe it's 3+, 2+. And then I can as well countercharge, since he will probably be pinned into combat. I will be able to get a 5. With a 5 on the dice, I will be able to get into this combat with the giant. So I should be able, with the 2 threat, to deal with this unit. So I'm pretty good spot at the moment. I would say we'll see what happened in these 2 combats, but feeling pretty confident. There are no boosts. I have a magic phase. Might be a good way to get started in this game. Magic. I'm casting Children of Umi on the Rock on the right. That was my aim. Try to help him in combat. I'm able to get it, so that's a good news. And then I'm casting. I had only 6 dice against 5, and then with 3 dice I'm trying to cast the Wrath of God, but I just fail it. So I have Children of Umi on the Rock. That's it. I'm virtually toughness 7, meaning he needs 6 to wound me, I guess. I think he has strength 5 on the grinding attacks, so I'm in pretty good spot to be able to stick in combat if I don't kill him outright. Also on the charge from the Griffin, he will be wounding on 6 up with the beast, so I should be not so bad. What should I say? And then on the left, yeah, combat. So shooting, I do a few shots, but I think nothing significant. And into combat, so here I'm only able to do 1 wound. I get I think 1 wound, I think, and I get 2 in return, which is a problem. So we draw this combat. He has not even to make a test. He was outside, I guess, from I think 12. That's a bit more far away, but he was probably outside of the range. But I was minimized. I think I made 2 wounds, and he did 2 wounds as well, and that's why he was able to pass the 9 steadfast minimize. No reroll, but minimize, I guess. So he was able to stick. Okay, not ideal, but I mean, that's not sure that he kills me next round, so we will see. We'll see. It's a push. Expected a bit more from this charge, but yeah, could happen. I mean, I don't throw so many dice, so it can always happen that you roll a bit less than average, and I was not able to wound that much, so yeah, that happened. And here, I start really well. 4 impact hits that wounds, so I make, I think, 6 impact hits totally, so pretty average, and I think 6 of them wounded, and then he managed to do 2 saves. I did 4 wounds with the impact hits, so I was pretty happy. 2 wounds left. And then with my attack, I did nothing. So I hit it only 1 time, and then I wasn't able to do more wounds. So unfortunately, would have been really nice to kill him. And then with his grinding attack, wounding on 6 up, he does 2 wounds back. So I'm feeling less confident now. Having taken 2 wounds back, it will be hard to stick into this combat. Here I'm able to kill all of them but 1. I try to pursue, but I'm not able to get him. And here after the reform, I slightly went to the right, as explained before. Turn 2, EoS gets the counter charge off. Here, as you see, 2 wounds remaining. Here as well. So yeah, he will probably be able to finish me off. Also, he needs 6/6 to wound. It will be depending a lot what he does on the grinding and all the attacks. But I would be really happy to strike at least, or to stick, because that would be really deciding then to get the counter charge off. I mean, that would be really good for me. We'll see. So, okay, he didn't rally the guy who fled out of the board. He passes the leadership check 9 rerollable with the writers, and just shuffle a bit with the 2 boss, moves forward to threat my mage. The idea, if he comes forward, I will need to go back with my mage, and then I won't be able to boost very much my troops. So that's a nice idea, I guess. And then, yeah, I guess that's it for movement. In the magic, binding, scrolling, unerring strike. The idea is not get the giant killed. I'm seeing that this combat is not going well. I will need giant support, and I will need some wounds. If I goes there with too many wounds left, only a few wounds left, I will be killed before I can strike. So I really need a full giant. So binding, scroll, unerring strike. Then he's trying fate judgment on the giant. I take it out, but then he's able to get 2 buffs. Rerolling 2 hits on these griffins, and then boosting the weapon skill and agility on these griffins there. So good for him as well, but I really needed the giant. I was ready to lose this guy. If I can get the charge with the giant, I should take on average like 4 wounds on me, and then I will be able to attack with 9 attacks, strength 7 back, 4+, and then 2+, AP4. Might be able to win the combat, and this time make him flee. We'll see. Again, it's quite dicey. Okay, so, and then I told everything, I guess, about the magic. Yes. No shooting, let's move on to combat. He's able to do 1 wound with the grinding, and then another wound with the griffin, so he's able to reform. And yeah, I did nothing this turn, so he's just able to, excuse me, he did an overrun with this guy. That was a good decision for his part. I should have placed me in a better position in order to see him, but yeah, again, he will be able to do a lot of combat result on this guy. So he's overrunning into this guy, and the Auroch is dead, so I have no more Auroch on turn 2, so I will need really to get very good combat and charges from the general and the giant, because I've already lost a couple of model here. I am getting the 2 wounds on my head, so I cannot use my crush attack. So I'm dead with the hunter as well. So I lost these 2 important pieces. So 2 combat that went really bad. Turn 3 of the Ogre, it will be really deciding moment. I'm able to get the 5 on the dice to charge in, so that's good with the giant. Ambushing, finally. My ambush didn't come on the board on the last turn, on turn 2. That would have been a big help, because that was also my idea by coming in with the hunter was, okay, I will be able to bring in the giant and to bring an ambush, and then on turn 3 to charge with ambush plus giant. But no ambush came on the board turn 2, so that didn't help as well. But giant gets in, and here I'm able to get a 6 Swift Ride to go into the tank. Okay, it's not an easy fight, but I have 1d3 impacted, strength 5, AP2, 3+ armor save, should do probably nothing. But then I have 5 attack, hitting on 3+, wounding on 5+, but the 6 are lethal strike and the 5 are AP3. I need 2 wounds. That's as easy as it is. I need only 2 wounds, and if I get 2 wounds, I might be able to overrun into the flank of the writer, and also if my opponent will probably kill and reform, he could be able to charge me in the back, but I should be able to do a lot of result against this guy, not take that much from them because I have a good defensive ability. I might be able to stick against the Griffin, so who knows? It's a bit a complicated situation, but I mean, I still have good possibilities, depending a lot what happened in these 2 combat. And yeah, the last Skin Eater didn't came on the board. I get a better placement with the BSB, knowing that this combat I might need in some turn maybe some help. And I'm also seeing that, I mean, it's going bad here. It's going really bad. He's pushing me with the cav, so I go a bit on the left. My plan is try to save this objective in the later stage, but it's complicated. He has here the Locket of Suna, so if he comes forward, I cannot do much with this guy who would be really destroyed to combat. So yeah, that would be really complicated. Okay, magic. I'm able to get not a lot of interesting spells, since I need to go really far away to avoid the charge from the cavalry. I do a Hand of Even on the cavalry, killing 2 guys. Then I'm trying Wrath of God, dispelled by my opponent, and I put -1 strength here. I was too far away from the tank to help the hunter out, unfortunately. There was no way that I could get a good position for my spell, so well done by my opponent by placing this unit forward. And then let's move on to combat. First combat here, I take 4 wounds, he has a charge and so on, so I flee, he restrain and just reformed. That's it. This combat, it's very, very disappointing. I managed to get through only 1 wound, and then with the grinding strength 5, I get 3 wounds back. So I'm losing combat, and I flee. I roll a double 5 without reroll. I flee, he cannot pursue me, but I roll an 8. 8 is placing me just inside the inch, so I'm going out of the table. Okay, that was it. It was a nice game. And here on the left, to add a bit salt on the wounds, my opponent is doing 4 wounds. Okay, that's expected, but then with my attack, I'm only able to do 2 wounds. Meaning that I stick into combat, but I'm dead basically, because next turn I will be dying. So I rolled pretty bad, and now I mean that's a bit over for me, because I lost the general. He has still 1 wound. I lost this guy. This guy is probably going to flee to the charge next turn. He is pushing me, so it's getting very, very complicated. EoS turn 3. He moves a bit around with cavalry in order to cast some spell on the Keen Eater. He's moving the tank in order to try to shoot on my shaman, because I have no lookouter in this unit. And he gets the charge off against my tiger. Decided to stick because fleeing on the board, I mean, it makes no sense. I better try just to be lucky. They have -1 strength, so you never know if he fluffs completely. That's UB, that can always happen. Here he gets the 9 on the charge in. I mean, I could have fled as well, but that would have meant as well that he could try a long charge on the cat. I would have need to fled as well, probably. So I thought I might just stay. Maybe he will fail the 9 Strift Stride, but he managed to do it, so that was bad as well. And then let's move on to magic. A good Fate Judgment managed to do 3 wounds, and then an Unerring Strike with 4 dice against 5 is able to kill the Keen Eater, so that's another model killed. And then the cannon rolls a 1 and then rolls a 2 against my mage, so yeah, he cannot shoot anymore during the game, but I mean, he did his work, I mean, by taking a charging Rock, and a charging General Hunter. So yeah, that's it. And then combat is killing the giant. Okay, he's killing this guy. He fails to restrain, but goes off the board. He's killing this guy and reforms. And I mean, that's it. I have here a picture, but we decided here to stop the game, because there is no point. I mean, he was able, on my turn, I'm able to finish off the tank, so okay, at least that. I'm able to kill the tank with a Hand of Even, that's a good thing. Here I didn't take the charge, because he could just basically then probably flee on the leadership check in order to charge me, or just charge me with a character. It was a 10 Swift Strike, maybe I should have just taken it, I don't know. Since he had Guiding Light, maybe that would have been an option to charge in. I don't know, it was a 10. I decided not to. And then on his turn, he's able to get my shaman, who had to get here as a position to cast a spell. I fled from the charge from the prelate, but with a 9 Swift Stride, he's able to get me. And over there, he just moved forward, and I will not be able to stop him, basically, because the damsel is killing me in the duel with the Locket of Suna, so or just sticking me into combat. And then, I mean, he has so much combat result with the standard and so on, so I might not be able to do anything to stop him going for the objective. His objective, he has it already. I mean, I have nothing left on the board. I just lost my mage, so yeah, it's just a case. Will he kill the BSB with magic? I will just move around, and that's it. So we decided to stop here, since it's just a practice game. There is no point continuing the game. So he gets a very big victory. I mean, I lost everything. Everything went wrong. We'll try to analyze a little bit what happened during this game. Okay, let's analyze quickly together what I did during this game and what I should have done differently. So first of all, I lost all 4 crucial fights. They were all dicey fights. I mean, Hunter against the Griff, yeah, he should won by a small margin. I guess 3 wounds against 1 wound. Statistically speaking, Ogre against the tank was always dicey. It's hard to make 6 wounds on the tank. I was charging, sure, it's strength 7, sure, but it's hard to do 6 wounds. Then again, the general against the tank, it was hard to wound 5+, and the giant against the Griff was also dicey. That were all for combat really dicey, which I lost in this game and had a huge impact on the result at the end. The EoS general, I have to admit, did a good game. He chose to be centrally, to let me go in the flank, but he was able to deal with me, to deal with the threats in the flank as well. And Divination Magic helped out a lot. I mean, by killing outright the Ogre turn 1, by killing as well the Kinitor turn 3, that was huge. And of course, for turn 1, I guess I should have used the Binding Scroll directly to avoid getting one shot. Of course, it was unlucky to get with 6 dice against 4, not to dispel the Unerring Strike maximize, but I don't know, should have maybe used the Binding Scroll already turn 1 and then avoid getting some wounds off already in turn 1. I followed my game plan in the flank. I was happy with my Hunter getting into interesting position early in the game. It's always a good sign when I'm able to go in the flank with 2 Hunters who are quite good on the charge. So I was quite happy. But I think I should have danced much more with the Hunter, meaning not get the charge in the front of the Griffs on the left, but continue to move, to go in the flank, to make them pivot until I get support from the Kinitor. The Kinitor didn't came on early in the game, so no Kinitor turn 2, but I should have just continue moving until I'm able to be in a better shape, meaning having more threat against the Griffs, because dummy Griffs, 4 of them are quite tough. It's not so easy to deal with them, so I would have been in better shape. I continue moving, dancing around, and either getting a good charge against them in the flank or rear, or waiting for Kinitor to come on the board. And then last point, I think overall my game plan after deployment, the choices I made at the end of deployment with Trappers and then the turn 1, especially in the middle of the board, was not good. I think I should have targeted more the 2 cavalry unit, because I have really good matchup with an Auroch against a cavalry bus in 1 against 1. So I should have tried to do so and try to avoid the tank, because going into the tank, it's always a huge risk. It's so difficult to kill him. He's unbreakable, so I should have gone differently. I will try to show that with the following picture. That's after turn 1. That's after deployment, sorry. That's what I should have done, I guess, in turn 1. In light color, yellow light color, you have the character, so BSB on the bottom right, and then the 2. I think the position of both Hunter after deployment, so in turn 1 was good. I would do the same, but in the middle I should have redeploy, so to say, react to his counter deployment by putting the Trapper to chaff both cavalry, putting the 2 Auroch in the front, meaning that if he goes with the steam tank to intercept the Trappers, first of all he would go in the way of his cavalry unit from the right, and second of all, I should be able to get a double charge from Auroch. That would be too much for him, so that would be a huge risk. He wouldn't probably take it, and then put the giant a bit on the left. I would have been with 4 threat in the front, align, getting favorable matchups, plus the 2 threat from the Hunter on the flank would have been, I think, in a better shape after turn 1 to get into this game. So, yeah, that's an idea that I should keep in mind for the next time I'm going to face this kind of army. Okay guys, that's all. That was a hard lesson, but good lesson to take. It's a practice game still, so no huge damage. It was an interesting lesson. Couple of things went wrong, of course. A couple of things I should have done differently. I tried to highlight it in the battle report. I hope you like it, and see you soon, and please subscribe to the channel. Bye guys.